We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before your bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Let's get out of here, man.
Show you the money.
Honestly, let's just go. Let's go to Vegas.
Look at you, brother. Not Jerry. I want you to say what you would mean it, brother. Show me the money!
It's the Sports Memory Vegas pregame show.
NFL Divisional Weekend is here. Boys, in my opinion, this is the second best sports weekend of the entire year. Only the first weekend of March Madness can even sniff this weekend, and I'm so excited. We have 4 games, and they're all 4 marquee matchups. There's storylines galore in every single one of these games. Marcus, are you ready?
I was born ready, baby. We are ready. I was actually going to wear my Cooper Cup jersey today to kind of celebrate the Rams, which we'll dig into later. There you go with Steve Young. But I think I was going to surprise some people when we go down to I was forced to go into Fergus tomorrow for the game, so I think I'll surprise all the Bucs fans with my.
Forrest, pull your leg. Have fun at a great bar and watch some games.
There we go. We got 2 guests here today on this show. We got Trevor Irish and we got Newman. You guys are used to that, seeing them in our college shows, but they're here because honestly, we all want to talk football. And let's waste no more time listening to me talk about the games. Let's get right into it. And we have Cincinnati, who just won their first playoff game, going to Tennessee, who's the 1 seed. I feel like Tennessee has been slept on by everyone. Everyone forgot that Tennessee, they had a better record than the Chiefs. They had a better record than the Bills. They had a better record than the Bengals. And everyone is writing off Cincinnati.
Better record than anyone else in the AFC.
Cincinnati's getting 3.5 points. Trevor and I were talking before this show. Every metric shows that Tennessee should win this game. The road team, the quarterback making their first road playoff start is just 6-15. Going against the 1 seeds, they're only 9-12 against the spread. I'm telling you, look at
kind of better.
Every number is following Tennessee. Every number is following Tennessee, but not any of us. And I'll start with why I think that. And I think it comes down to Joe Burrow. Last weekend, I got so cute. I took all these stats. I put all these up together. I'm taking the best quarterback in every freaking game. And Ryan Tannehill might be the worst quarterback in the playoffs. That is why I am rolling with Joey B and Cincinnati to not just win their first playoff game ever, but to get their second playoff game in not ever, but in about, a long time. And I feel pretty good about my pick because the king of picks, Derek, who also won last week, who also tore it up in the regular season, he's also taking Cincinnati. So I am comfortable in my pick. Trevor, tell us why you're riding with Derek and I.
Well, I'm jumping right into it because I hate to go off your coattails, but I love me some Joe Burrow. I mean, just watching the dude, he's got swag like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he's slinging it like, Patty Mahomes out there. I mean, throwing it up, he's throwing it to one of the best wide receivers in the league, although he, being a rookie. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. So give me Cincy. I want to see them roll after getting their first win. They got the jitters out. They got their win. And Tennessee's just boring. And Derrick Henry's, been out. Yeah, he's not on a snap count. He's coming back since he's not good against the run. Whatever. Give me Joe. Give me Joe. I'll take it all day. So I'm going against the stats on this one, but I'm more of a gut guy anyways. So let's go Cincy. Let's go Big Joe.
Absolutely. So yeah, Newman, what do you say about this? You're the stat guy, right? You're the guy that knows more than probably all three of us combined. What are your stats saying? Because clearly you're going with Cincinnati as well.
Yeah, so Tennessee is 20th in DVOA, so Football Outsiders DVOA, which actually weights schedule in terms of when you played, how you played, who you played, etc. Comparatively. So it's more an advanced statistics measure of it, which is the worst number 1 seed ever in the history of football. This team is kind of basically just gotten lucky. They play a lot of close games. They find ways to win, which is, great. And
they play in the AFC.
It's kind of important, right?
Hey, now
they're super injured, but if you look at it, this is just a team that has kind of played above its head. One key factor here in this game is that they're actually really bad at special teams, and special teams tends to play a big role here. So I could totally see that occurring to swing a big play at some point. And you would think that, Belichick, having played under Belichick, Mike Vrabel would be, more aware of those kind of situational stuff. But for some reason, they're not good at special teams. So I think that
everyone wants to know: did Vrabel sacrifice his dick? I think that's what we all need to know. That we don't know that before this game.
We'll find out in 6 weeks.
Not yet. But generally, their defense is okay, but I expect Cincinnati to be able to kind of get what they want in terms of throwing the ball around, etc., exploiting options. They have tons of they're loaded at the skill positions. They should be able to kind of control the clock. And Tennessee, Derrick Henry supposedly back. If Derrick Henry's like 100%, then that they actually have a chance. But I also agree with you. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill in this situation.
You can't.
Yeah.
Marcus, what about you? Round us out here.
I do have a parlay or a play for this game, a little prop bet here. T. Higgins is plus 100 yards plus receiving and a touchdown is plus 500, which to me, he's a guy who had like down the stretch several 100-yard games. You get 100 yards, there's a good chance that you're going to score anyway. So that plus 500 seems pretty easy.
It's solid. There's two things that I actually very much enjoy in this world, right? One, kind of watching the Bengals lose, watching the Bengals get blown out. The other thing is kind of disagreeing with Newman, but I just can't. Like I do. I love the T. Higgins play, kind of tying back into Derrick Henry. It's kind of how effective he is going to be. One thing I do like about the Titans, other than the beautiful women and the beautiful city and the great music and the beautiful women. I don't know if I said that once, but they have beautiful women.
Bachelorette capital of the world.
Love the city. But the Bengals are just too hot right now. And, they have a good running back, like a running back who, past his early troubles, he's, past the injuries, he's been productive. And, we've hit some good bets on him, and that's Joe Mixon. And I know you like Joey this year.
Yeah, no, I was ripping Joe all off season. I tried to fight the Joe Mixon train as long as I could, and I just can't do it anymore. The guy stayed healthy. The guy is really talented. That's why I have him going over 100 yards today. But for Tennessee to stand a chance, they're also going to have to put up yards and going to have to put up points. So I got a little player parlay here that's got a huge payout. I got Mixon going over 100, and I have A.J. Brown going over 100. That gets you to plus 1,500. That is a 16-1 bet for only two guys to have a good performance. That is a phenomenal value in two things that are extremely likely. When we get towards the end of the season, I throw away kind of my small plays. I'm throwing big plays in, and I like this one really, really well.
When do you see like two of the best players on a team, big names, like they only need 100 yards each, and you have plus 1,500? Like absolutely, that's a home run potential, bet right there for something that's not necessarily that unreasonable. So I hate agreeing with you, but this one I'm fully on board. I'm getting my ass out to put in a bet right now.
Yeah,
if anyone's aware,
it's a great value.
Trevor faded me the entire bowl season. No one likes to fade me more than Trevor, and he's agreeing with me here. So that must say something.
I like this one. It's definitely good. It's a smart one, and we're talking about bets, in this pod. So definitely listen to this one. I think it's a good one.
All right.
But I think going into the next game, It's gonna be my team or the new America's team, because supposedly some American team. Which, by the way, I don't think any one of us here thinks the Cowboys are the America's team. But
no, it's Steelers, but it's okay.
We could talk about that later. But anyways, the Niners coming in here into Green Bay facing Aaron Rodgers, and of course I've got to take the Niners on this one. They proved me wrong against the Cowboys. Everything in the metrics said that they were going to actually beat the Cowboys. A lot of people were on the Niners. I like them here for a few reasons, and they're not necessarily statistical, but they're more historical. So the Niners are 3-0 against Aaron Rodgers in playoff games. So the Niners have owned A-Rod in the playoff games whenever they've played. So I like that history, and a good reason is they can run the ball, they can control the clock, and they've got a solid defense that can get pressure on the quarterback. You got Bosa returning back from his concussion. He's a full play, ready to go. He's going to be coming off the edge, and if you can get pressure on A-Rod, I think you're going to be able to force some of his throwaways. Another big one here is someone who we've been sleeping, or people kind of have forgotten about him, is Kittle. He's kind of had just like a little sleepy, playoffs and late towards the end of the season. Really wasn't doing that much. I think teams have started to figure out kind of zone play and kind of where he's going over the middle, which is where he gets the majority of his passes. But he had almost 100 yards against Green Bay earlier in the season. Green Bay gave up their second most yards against a tight end when he played. Looked great.
Oh, wow.
The other big game that Packers gave up was against Mark Andrews, another great tight end. Gave up 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards. So the Packers really aren't that great against tight ends, which leads me to my pick here with George Kittle getting first titty at plus 1,200. Another great value one, but also one reason why I really like this is this started off as plus 2,000. So it's going the other way, which means I think people are starting to see and starting to have some faith in George Kittle here. So give me Kittle on this first titty, and I think you might be able to make some money here. So that's my bet on that one.
Titties for everyone. Titties for everyone.
Just give them. Just give them. I'm hoping there's a lot of titties on this one, but going over the line here. I mean, it's over unders 47. So it's not too big, but it's going to be a cold game. So that's going to be something there, and it's going to be Green Bay at -5.5. So if you want to think about those lines in that margin, but let's look at who else has the Niners in this one. I think there's a few of us here.
See what Newman's got.
Yes.
She got the snooms?
So I'm also on the Niners.
Boo.
And let me lay out my reasoning. So what does San Francisco do really, really well? They run the ball, right? If anyone can scheme up the running game, it's Kyle Shanahan. Now, unfortunately for Green Bay, they're 28th in DVOA against the run. And they're like 15th against the pass. So like mediocre against the pass. Jimmy Garoppolo should have some success. And then they're 28th against the run. Plus, San Francisco has unleashed the weapon known as Deebo Samuel, which they didn't really unleash in their matchup earlier this season when they played against each other. And then going back to special teams, Green Bay is dead last in special teams DVOA. So Aaron Rodgers is going to keep this game close, but give me San Francisco and the points all day in this one.
All right, get the San Francisco love fest going, Marcus. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Kittle again on the screen. Gosh, you can't get it up.
So I also have George Kittle. I agree with Trevor. So I have a little prop bet for you. 100 yards and a touchdown for George Kittle, plus 400. I think that's nice and juicy.
Yes, it is.
I like it. I like
it. So for me, this game, it's funny because today is like the 2 days I'm like most torn on, like most indecisive. Tomorrow, I'm very cut and dry. Didn't matter what the numbers were. I'm very cut and dry. We'll get to that shortly. Just kind of keep this simple, man. Niners are going to grind it out. I kind of still like Green Bay to win. If Warner and Bosa weren't ready, it would be easy for me. Easy Green Bay. We'll see Aaron Rodgers' big ass toes, all that good stuff, all the fun stories. At the beginning of the season, what do we say? Rodgers is going to be the MVP. He did that. He's going to throw for 55 touchdowns. He did not do that, but that's okay. And he's going to win a Super Bowl, and then he's going to say, fuck you, Green Bay. 3 out of 4 is okay. I still don't want them to win. I hope the Niners win for my bank account, but I like the Niners to cover.
All right. Now that we got the Bay love.
You know who hates me? You know who hates me? Is Derek. You know who else hates me? Who else hates me, Brandon?
I hate you. And I couldn't feel better about Derek being on my side. That's why I teed it up in the beginning. Derek is the pick king. I'm so confident in Green Bay, not only because of Derek, but because of the MVP. I said it at the onset of the show. I'm throwing away stats. I'm going with the better quarterback. Green Bay 27, San Francisco 21. Green Bay covers, and it is the over. Give me both of those for this game. I do think it's really good. Trevor, I think you may have a heart attack. I think we may be getting some Scotch Trevor texts later this afternoon because I do think it's going to be a very, very good game. But I do see maybe a late touchdown by Green Bay, by the MVP to lock up the cover and the over.
See, this is, I think, where we're going to go wrong because I do agree Green Bay is going to win. I do agree. However, I believe the Niners cover, and I believe it's going to happen just like it did before. Crosby is going to come through and get that field goal at the end because if the Niners give as much time as they gave to Dak, as they give to A-Rod, they're going to lose.
0%.
Crosby's shaky though, right? Like I would not if I'm a Green Bay fan, like I do not want the game in Crosby's hands.
In 6-degree weather too.
I could definitely say, like, if it's a long 40-yard field goal, I could see them not settling for the field goal and trying to play it more. But hey, you know what? I don't call myself the prop king. Some people call me the prop king, and I got another one for this game with a huge payout, and it's 2 dogs, absolute dogs. Deebo Samuel, Mr. Do Everything. This isn't 100 rushing. This isn't 100 receiving. This is 100 total yards. And Rodgers throwing for 350. Now, 350 is a lot. That's a lot of yards, but the 49ers run a run funnel defense. They have a very pass suspect secondary. I think it can definitely be exploited, especially when you had 2 weeks to prepare. That's huge. If you look at when teams have 2 weeks to prepare, they really capitalize on advantages. So that's why I think Deebo does his thing. A-Rod does his thing. This pays off at 2,500, guys. That is a massive payout. I feel more confident about the Samuel prop than I do the Rodgers prop because 350 is a lot. But again, that's at plus 2,500. I'm rolling with it, just like I'm rolling with the Packers. All right. Let's move to Sunday, and let's move to where down in Florida, the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers hosting the Rams. Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite with an over-under of 48. Newman, we all know you're secretly a Bucs fan, so tell us about this game.
I mean, there's not really a secret about this. Yeah, born and raised here in the Tampa Bay area, so yes, I am a Bucs fan. Key factors for this game. So the Bucs have this guy by the name of Tom Brady. That's one key factor, and you shouldn't bet against Tom Brady, especially not in the playoffs. That's not going to make you a lot of money in the long run. I mean, the Rams are a really good football team, but when they've played the Bucs in Week 3, which was a long time ago, the Bucs were really beat up, especially on the defensive end. I expect them to be fully healthy. They're supposed to have every starter back for this game. That's going to play a factor in being able to take away guys like Cooper Kupp and the rest of their the rest of their players. Plus, Deshaun Jackson had a big game for the Rams in that, and he's no longer on the roster. So, taking away some of that speed element, downfield threat, OBJ can easily be covered by Carlton Davis, in my opinion. Plus, the Bucs are fully healthy with Levante David back. That's going to help them stop the run. Although Cam Akers is a stud, he may find difficulty running the ball this week. And then I don't trust Matthew Stafford. He got his first ever playoff win last week. To make it 2 against the greatest of all time would
the
be
real Matty Ice.
Quite the feat, and not something I'm expecting to see happen. And then in regards to the Rams, they're going to be without Andrew Whitworth, I believe, for this game. The Bucs, Tristan Wirfs did practice, so he may be a little dinged up, but he's supposed to play. These are all factors in terms of just key players being available for the Bucs. I think that's the difference in this game. So I'm taking the Bucs. I'll give you the 3 points. And then in regards to A little prop that I have for you: touchdown playoff Lenny,
Playoff
100 yards and a touchdown plus 400. This is a game where if Tom Brady gets out to a lead here, playoff Lenny comes into play, hits a big run or two against some of those suspect Rams secondary members, and making them actually have to tackle people and their linebacking core. I think this is set up for be a possible nice juicy little payoff for you.
Yeah, no, I like that. I haven't liked a non-Steeler like I've liked Leonard Fournette in a very long time. I love everything about Lenny Fournette, and I like this prop. 100 rush yards might be a little difficult, but Lenny's finding the end zone, like no question.
Remember, Rojo's out for this game too, so it's just Lenny who's back.
I mean,
unless you want Gio, think Gio's going to be running the ball a lot. I don't think so.
If the Bucs get out to a lead at some point, or they come back because Tom Brady tends to do that, come back and take the lead and need to salt the game away at the end, that's where Leonard can pick up some extra yardage there for sure.
Yep. So I'm going to disagree with you. This one's pretty easy for me. I'd like for Tampa to win, specifically if the Niners win. But the Rams are my preseason Super Bowl favorite pick. And, I've realized a few things lately. One very much recently. When a man realizes his woman's a teammate, not an opponent, that is when his life changes. Don't break her up, build her up, man. Great. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna, for that one. Dude, the Bucs are banged up. We know about it. Don't fucking sleep on them, man. The Rams are gonna fucking steamroll Tampa. I hope Tampa wins for all my friends and for my finances, but it's pretty simple, man. The Rams are the fucking real deal. Cam Akers I can't say he's underrated, but there's so much value that you can't put a number. You can't quantify how much better the Rams are offensively, how much pressure it takes off of Matt Stafford having that talent there. And watching what he did, R.I.P. Buda Baker, Rams fucking roll. And you know what? Derek agrees with me. Rams are going to fucking steamroll them.
Yeah, finally, Derek and I finally disagree. But you know what? If I'm going to have someone agree with me, I'm happy it's Newman. You know what? Newman and I on the same side, I still feel confident. Why do I feel confident? Because of TB12. I was with Marcus. Marcus and I sat on this show back in August, and we both picked the Rams. The Rams went all in on this season, but it's only a 3-point spread, 2.5 in some spaces. I think at worst, this is a push. And if anyone knows what's going to be on my tombstone, it's going to be a push isn't a loss. That's how confident I am that the Buccaneers win by at least 3. Again, guys, I'm making this simple for you. Take the better quarterback. The better quarterback is wearing 12, and he's wearing red. He isn't wearing white. Give me Tampa all day. Newman and I taking it to the house. I do have another prop bet, way smaller in scale, but if you look how many yards were thrown between these two last game, 742. This prop, you only need 600. So this is kind of my layup prop, right? I hope this prop pays for my other props if they don't hit. I always like to have a one that evens out, and that's why I have this play. Both quarterbacks throwing for 600 plus yards at plus 150. Like I said, not near the payout, only 2.5 to 1, but I think 600 yards is an easy clear for the two quarterbacks in this game. I think this game is tons of fireworks. This might be the most fun game. Multiple 40, 50-yard touchdowns. I see tons of big plays. This is going to be an electrifying game on early Sunday afternoon. But we're saving the best game for last.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. You still need my pick, which is, by the way, the best pick of the group, because I'm now shifting the weights to the winner's side here, going here with Marcus and Derek, which have some stellar records here. So I would have to go and agree with, I think, everybody here. Cam Akers is a stud. I think he's going to be that X factor in this game, and not necessarily just for running the ball, but I think he's going to have some reception yards. OBJ threw him a 40-yard pass last game. You might see some trickery in there, but I like the Rams. I think they just have a more complete team. The Bucs are banged up. You have Tristan Wirfs, who does not. I mean, he was in a boot. Like, and that's your best guy blocking for you. And Tom Brady, as we know, the one way to beat him is get pressure on him. And Jensen, their center's also a little banged up too. So with that line being banged up, and the Bucs receivers, with Godwin out, don't necessarily look like they're on the same page other than Evans. So give me the Rams. Cam again has a great day. I'm just gonna roll with the Cali teams, which, by the way, born in Cali, so I'm gonna go with my home state on both these games. Give me the Rams in this one.
Newman, you always give me a hard time for picking with my heart. You're going to give Trevor this is a lot of bias coming out of Trevor Irish here in this show today.
Cali, baby.
Yeah. I do want to let you know, Trevor, that the Packers have a hard time covering tight ends. So despite the fact that Mike Evans might get completely taken out of the game by Jalen Ramsey, Tom Brady's
thank God they're not paying Packers.
Tom Brady's I'm sorry, the Rams are bad at covering tight ends. The Packers are too, though, by the way. As you
real
mentioned.
bad coverage.
But yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's favorite target in this game, I'd expect it to be Gronk.
Playoff Gronk. That's okay. OBJ and Cam. I think OBJ and Cam are going to be huge here, and I just don't think the Bucs defense will be able to contain them.
We're going to talk about Gronk here in a little bit, but in order to get to parlays, we need to finish with the game of the weekend. I'm so sad this isn't the championship game because I really do think these are the best two teams in the AFC. Buffalo traveling to Arrowhead, which Marcus was there less than a week ago. Marcus was at Arrowhead and got to see that environment live. Marcus, how do you see this game playing out?
Well, something that I learned during the national anthem in Kansas City, which is fantastic. It's not the land of the free and home of the brave. It's the land of the free and home of the Chiefs. But you know what the Chiefs don't have? A fucking quarterback ready to go through a flaming table. That's my guy. Said it a while ago. In that right before that loss to New England in that shitstorm, Josh Allen is gonna light it up. The Chiefs are creative, they are explosive, and they actually blow your mind in person more than you can possibly imagine. It's ridiculous. That's the first time the first time I've actually been like blown away by like schematics. I've never been confused watching it, but I love Josh Allen. I'm a big believer. He's gonna put on another show, and Stephon Diggs will not be on that field again this year. And you know what? You know who disagrees with me, as always? Derek. But he's wrong, and that's okay. Who else disagrees with me?
Guess what? It's what did I say months ago, Marcus? I said this months ago. I'm done picking KC. But then I got smarter, and I was like, you know what? I can't follow the past. I got to move on to the future. Things are meant to turn around. And that's why I see the best team left in the playoffs winning this game. Kansas City's defense is playing better than it ever has. Its offense is starting to click. It doesn't matter who's in the backfield. I absolutely love everything Kansas City. And it isn't because they blew out the Steelers twice in the past month. That has nothing to do with it. I truly think that offense is starting to click on all cylinders. And when Mahomes starts to dial it in, everyone else is in trouble. This is only 1.5 points, guys. The spread is not irrelevant, but not completely relevant. If you're going to pick in this game, just go with money line. And you know what? Kansas City may have screwed me on the spread, but they're not going to screw me out of straight up. Give me Kansas City. I'm taking Kansas City money line in this game, and I'm rolling with playmakers. Straight playmakers, which is why there's this little prop here. Again, back to plus 1,500. Diggs had 69 yards on 3 catches last time. If he gets a little bit more volume, I definitely see him getting over 100 yards. And Mahomes, let's be honest, they pass to set up the pass. There is no run game in Kansas City. He is going to throw the ball all over, backyard football. Give me Mahomes almost touching 400, and give me Diggs doing all he can in maybe garbage time yardage. I like Kansas City to win and to win big.
Interesting. So, You know, I like to fade you, but I have to go with you here on this one. I'm also very happy Derek's on this one as well. This is, I think, going to be the best game. And a big reason is I think it's just going to be a lot of points. I like myself a lot of points. And I think my biggest deciding factor is the best QB, which I still think Patty Mahomes is pure QB. He's going to throw the ball a lot. It's going to be a lot of points. And they just if Casey gets a ball at the end with a chance to win, they're going to win. And I think that's what it's going to come down to in this game. Give me the over actually too at 54.
That's a lot of points.
I know it's risky, but I mean, big prime time. I mean, on Sunday, big teams. I mean, remember Buffalo was perfect offensively last week and can score. And we know Kansas City can score. Just give me Kansas City, Patty Mahomes, lots of points. It's going to be exciting.
Newman, you staying on the right side of things here?
I sure am. So I'm on Kansas City as well here. Leaves Marcus out on an island. The main reason I'm on Kansas City is the Bills have faced one of the worst schedules I've ever seen. It is paper soft. And I am just not buying that they're as good as people think they are, particularly their defense. Their defense doesn't seem like it's really been tested very much. The last quarterback that we saw that really had it, that was actually a good quarterback that went against them was the Bucs, and we saw how they lit them up in that game. Kansas City has probably a better quarterback than the Bucs do in Patrick Mahomes, at least currently. They also have more weapons to their availability, and no Tre'Davious White here for the Bills, which is, their best defensive player, right? He normally can take at least one of these guys out of the game. Well, he's not there, so he can't take anybody out. That means that Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Byron Pringle, all these weapons are all going to play a factor, and then also factor in the new weapon that they roll out, Jerick McKinnon. Absolutely going off last week. I do expect Kansas City to be able to run the ball on the Bills because many teams have this year, particularly, do you guys remember that game against the Colts? Yeah, I do too. So just in terms of the way this game plays out, I'm absolutely going to trust Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid. And then for your juicy little line, I expect Kansas City to win. Mecole Hardman, 70 yards receiving and a touchdown. Doesn't seem all that complicated. Plus 1050. That's a lot of juice.
Yeah, I feel like it's either him or Pringle. Like almost every other game, one of them puts up this kind of stat line. You're pretty much flipping a coin. If you're flipping a coin at plus 1,000, that's wonderful, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's that. I like that one. I like that prop a lot.
The only stat that I want to bring up with these last couple parlays and props and fun bets, just because our podcast the other night unfortunately didn't get recorded properly. Kansas City, in their last 2 playoff wins, Mecole Hardman fumbled the ball and either gave up a defensive touchdown or gave the other team a touchdown opportunity inside the 10-yard line. They lost.
We always like redemption stories.
They lost to Pittsburgh and Buffalo in both of those games. Last time he didn't give up a 7-0 lead in the playoffs for Kansas City, they got smoked in the Super Bowl. Food for thought. Food for thought, boys.
Oh, the Hardman curse. The Hardman curse. We're all shaking in our boots here, Mr. Island Boy. Marcus is an island boy.
One more thing to reinforce a point that you were making earlier, Brandon, in terms of Kansas City's defense not having played better than they have at this point. Yeah, so their weighted DVOA, which measures, the last few games a little bit higher, actually has them progressing from 22nd to 13th in terms of defense. This is a defense that's actually finding stride and getting better. The addition of Melvin Ingram helps out a lot with that, being able to kick Chris Jones back inside where he belongs, and then taking Daniel Sorensen off the field a little bit more frequently also doesn't hurt. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, are you guys ready for parlays?
We are.
Ready for parlays. It's not quite an underdog parlay of the week, so throw away the underdog part because we only have 4 games. But I do have 3 teams that I'm very confident in, and I'm taking the favorite in Kansas City. I'm taking the favorite in Tampa Bay. But if you really want to boost your parlays, guys, add the Bengals. That plus money juice is really going to shoot up that value. You're getting here almost 8-1 here with this prop. I really like all these guys. These are all straight up plays. So that's who I'm locking in. The only one I don't have in here is Green Bay and San Francisco because the juice just isn't worth the squeeze to take San Francisco here. And then, do you guys like touchdowns? Do you guys like touchdowns? We all like touchdowns.
Titties, yep, absolutely.
We call them
so
titties.
I have my touchdown parlay of the week that it's going to hit this week, guys. I'm telling you, it's going to hit this week. I got Josh Allen running one in. I got Mixon running one in. I got Adams scoring in that pass easy defense of San Francisco. And I got Newman's boy Gronk getting in. That pays out at plus 1,600. Look at those studs at the bottom of your screen. All studs, all anytime touchdowns. All they have to do is score once in between the game. Take these 4 guys. That's a 17-1 bet.
So much juice out of all these prop bets that we're throwing out here. I mean, geez, if you just hit one of these, I mean, if anyone's listening, like you just need one to hit and you're going to be making yourself a solid weekend. So take the juice.
We're trying to make some money, Trevor. We're trying to make some money here.
All day.
Marcus, any of those you would switch out for anyone? Any running back, any wide receiver that you like instead of maybe Mixon and Adams?
No, I think Josh Allen's got to be your best quarterback, obviously, option running. Maybe Mahomes is your probably maybe number 2. As far as running backs, you have to kind of count on Mixon. There's going to be a handful of guys getting in there. You can't go wrong with Adams. Either you're looking at Adams or Kupp. One sneaky play I kind of like is Van Jefferson. Maybe even like for a first touchdown as far as like high value in that Rams-Bucks game. But tight ends, when it comes down to it, we talked about Kittle earlier. Now it's Gronk. I like both of them to score. And guess what? If both of those teams, if like in a nutshell, both of those guys, they have to fucking play. Past what their team, like whatever else goes on with their teams, those guys need to have big days. It just like in playoff past, ghosts of playoff past, tight ends of playoff past, however that goes, they have to show up for those teams to make advance. And so I love.
We got no Derek's digs, but we do have Sasha's play of the day, and she's got 2 of them. She's got Cooper Kupp first touchdown, and she's got Cooper Kupp 2 touchdowns. He's done it before. Newman brought up Carlton Davis is probably going to be on OBJ. That means someone from the Bucks' bad secondary has to guard Cooper Kupp.
Sean Murphy
Cooper Kupp could go off. That is Sasha's 2 plays. Cooper Kupp first touchdown. Cooper Kupp 2 touchdowns.
And I think if Bunting's guarding him, I think he's injured too. So like he's not 100%. That could
but it's like a hand injury. It's not a lower body, so you should be able to run with him.
I think we're definitely going to implement Sasha's plays next year. But what's funny is I start reading online, and before I like really start digging, I text Sasha. I'm like, hey, who's scoring first?
Yep. Her percentage is ridiculous. Her percentage.
She blows us out of the water. It's delightful.
And the second she wants to come on this pod, we kick Brandon to the curb, and Sasha's filling right in, 100%.
Oh, that's an upgrade if I've ever heard of one. All right, guys, we are within an hour of kickoff. Let's all get our beers. Let's get our food. Let's go watch some football. We'll talk to you guys next week.